Welcome back, basketball fans, to another monumental episode where we dissect the absolute biggest, most earth-shattering developments in the world of hoops. Today, we are not just talking about rumors. We are not just talking about whispers in the dark or the typical off-season speculation that feeds the relentless 24/7 news cycle. We are talking about a seismic shift in the landscape of international basketball, a moment that millions of passionate, die-hard fans across the globe have been waiting for, praying for, and relentlessly anticipating for years. The headline that brought you here is not hyperbole. It is the realization of a national dream, the culmination of years of grueling work, relentless scrutiny, and an unwavering belief against all odds. Kai Sotto is actually in the NBA conversation with a deal looming so close you can practically hear the ink drying, and alongside this monumental news, we have to talk about why Jordan Heading is poised to be absolutely spectacular on his current trajectory. This is a day that will be etched into the very fabric of basketball history, particularly for the fiercely devoted fan base in the Philippines, a nation where basketball is not just a sport, but a religion, a way of life, and a unifying force unlike any other. For as long as anyone can remember, the ultimate holy grail for Philippine basketball has been to see a homegrown, full-blooded Filipino talent step onto the hardwood of the National Basketball Association. We have seen players with Filipino heritage make their mark, and we celebrate them. But the quest for the homegrown hero has been an agonizing, beautiful, and sometimes heartbreaking journey. And at the absolute center of this whirlwind, carrying the weight of an entire nation on his broad, 7'3" shoulders, has been Kai Sotto. From his early days dominating the high school scene with 8 Neo, to the intense spotlight of his decision to pursue the G League Ignite path, to the detour to the Australian NBL with the Adelaide 36ers, and his dominant, resurgent stretches in the Japanese B-League with the Hiroshima Dragonflies, the Yokohama B Corsairs, and now the Koshigaya Alphas. Every single step Kai has taken has been under a microscope. People doubted his frame. Critics questioned his motor, his physicality, his ability to keep up with the blinding pace and explosive athleticism of the modern NBA game. When the 2022 NBA draft came and went without his name being called, the collective sigh of disappointment from his supporters was palpable. But the true measure of a champion, the true defining characteristic of a player destined for greatness, is not how they handle the easy victories, but how they respond to the devastating setbacks. Kai Sotto did not fold. He did not retreat. He went to work. He embraced the grind of international professional basketball, facing grown men, seasoned veterans, and former NBA players night in and night out. He transformed his body, adding muscle, improving his core strength, and refining his phenomenal touch around the rim. And now, in April of 2026, the narrative has dramatically shifted. The reports coming in from incredibly reliable sources point to an American management team that is taking a highly calculated, cautious approach, specifically keeping him protected and sidelined from certain international duties, including crucial Gilas Pilipinas qualifiers.
Why?
To preserve his health for a very real, very imminent short-term NBA opportunity. This is not a drill. This is the calculated maneuvering of a camp that knows they have a winning hand and are waiting for the perfect exact moment to play it. But our deep dive today does not stop at the towering presence of Kai Sotto. Because while the giant is making waves globally, there is a sniper, an absolute lethal marksman who is quietly and systematically tearing up the domestic scene, and his name is Jordan Heading. If you have been paying even a fraction of attention to the PBA, specifically the relentless dominance of the TNT Tropang Giga, you already know that Jordan Heading is not just a good player. He is a spectacular, game-changing weapon. After enduring the bitter taste of finals heartbreak, Heading has channeled that frustration into pure, unadulterated, high-octane offensive fuel. The man who once lit up the stat sheets at California Baptist University, who showcased his offensive brilliance with the Taichung Suns, has now found his absolute perfect groove in the PBA Season 50 Philippine Cup. Surrounded by the likes of Calvin Oftana, R.R. Pogoy, and the legendary Jason Castro, Heading has become the ultimate floor spacer, the deadly assassin who punishes any defense foolish enough to collapse into the paint. We are going to break down exactly why Jordan Heading is the absolute perfect complementary superstar, how his distinct basketball IQ and elite shooting mechanics make him practically unguardable in his current system, and why his spectacular play is the ultimate X-factor for his squad's championship aspirations. So, buckle up, hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and get comfortable, because we are about to leave absolutely no stone unturned. We are going to analyze the film, break down the analytics, dive deep into the contractual nuances of Kai Sotto's NBA maneuverings, and dissect the tactical brilliance of Jordan Heading's resurgence. This is the comprehensive, definitive breakdown you have been looking for, covering the past, present, and the incredibly bright future of these two phenomenal athletes. Let us begin this massive deep dive by focusing our absolute attention on the 7'3" phenomenon, the kaiju himself, Kai Sotto. To truly understand the magnitude of his current situation and this looming NBA opportunity, we have to meticulously trace the steps of his journey, a journey that has been anything but linear, yet entirely essential for his development into an NBA-ready prospect. Think back to 2022. The draft night snub was a bitter pill to swallow. Scouting reports at the time acknowledged his incredible height, his surprisingly soft touch, and his inherent basketball IQ inherited from a deep basketball bloodline. However, the glaring concerns were always centered around his lower body strength, his lateral quickness, and his ability to defend the pick and roll in space, the ultimate litmus test for any modern big man in the NBA. Instead of letting that moment define him, Sotto embarked on a global masterclass in professional development. His tenure in the Australian NBL with the Adelaide 36ers was a baptism by fire. The NBL is notorious for its sheer physicality. It is a grown man's league, rough, highly physical, and defensively demanding. For a young, still developing center, it was exactly the kind of harsh environment necessary to harden his resolve. He learned how to establish deep post position against seasoned veterans, he learned the nuances of setting bruising screens, and perhaps most importantly, he learned how to process the game at a professional speed. He averaged solid numbers, but the true value was in the reps, the invaluable experience of competing in a system that demanded accountability. But the true metamorphosis, the evolution that has directly led to his current NBA brinksmanship in 2026, occurred when he transitioned to the Japanese B-League. Moving to the Hiroshima Dragonflies, then the Yokohama B Corsairs, and now showcasing his dominance with the Kashigaya Alphas, Sotto found a league that perfectly complemented his developing skill set while continuously challenging him to expand his repertoire. The B-League is fast-paced, highly strategic, and relies heavily on precise spacing and quick decision-making. Here, Kai was not just a developmental project, he became a focal point. We witnessed him stringing together consecutive double-digit scoring performances. We saw him record monster double-doubles, like his career-defining moments against the Chiba Jets, demonstrating an elite ability to protect the rim, alter shots without fouling, and finish through contact with authority. His footwork in the post became noticeably crisper. His jump hook became a reliable weapon. And crucially, his understanding of defensive rotations improved exponentially. Now, let us analyze the massive strategic shift happening right now in April 2026. The news breaking that Sotto's American management is taking a cautious, protective approach, deliberately keeping him sidelined from the Gilas Pilipinas qualifiers, is the biggest indicator yet that an NBA deal is imminent. In the business of basketball, availability is your best ability, but protecting your primary asset when a life-changing contract is on the table is standard operating procedure. 4 years, Sotto has answered the call of duty for the national team. He has proudly worn the Gilas uniform, battling in FIBA tournaments, World Cups, and Asian qualifiers, bringing immense joy to his countrymen. He has always prioritized national pride. So, for his camp to suddenly pull back the reins and prioritize health preservation, it speaks volumes. It screams that there is a tangible, concrete offer or a highly lucrative short-term opportunity being negotiated. NBA front offices do not hand out guarantees lightly. If a team is showing genuine interest, perhaps offering a 10-day contract, a two-way deal, or a rest-of-season signing to evaluate him for the upcoming year, the absolute worst-case scenario would be Sotto suffering an injury in a FIBA qualifying window. The management's decision, while undoubtedly disappointing for fans wanting to see him in the Gilas colors right now, is the smartest, most pragmatic business decision for his long-term career. It is the final, calculated step in a marathon he has been running for almost a decade. And what does a 2026 version of Kai Sotto bring to an NBA roster? He brings 7'3" size that cannot be taught. He brings an improved defensive motor. He brings a high basketball IQ, capable of operating from the high post, passing out of double teams, and executing dribble handoffs, a staple in today's motion-heavy NBA offenses. He is no longer the raw teenager we saw years ago. He is a battle-tested international professional who knows his role. He can provide vital rim protection off the bench, grab defensive rebounds, and offer a lob threat in the pick and roll. Now, let us completely shift gears and transition our focus to the backcourt, to a player whose journey has been equally fascinating and whose current form is absolutely terrifying for opposing defenses. I am talking, of course, about Jordan Heading. While Sotto dominates the airspace, Heading controls the perimeter with a level of precision and deadliness that is rare to find. To understand why Jordan Heading is currently spectacular, we have to look at the crucible of his experiences and how they have refined his game to a razor's edge. Heading's foundational years at California Baptist University set the stage. He was not just a shooter, he was a leader, a durable guard who started over 100 games, leading his team in assists and establishing himself as the program's all-time leader in three-point field goals made. That level of collegiate production points to a player with an elite work ethic and a fundamental understanding of offensive spacing. After his collegiate career, his international experience, including his highly successful stint with the Taichung Suns where he showcased his ability to be a primary scoring option, further sharpened his offensive toolkit. He learned how to handle aggressive closeouts, how to shoot off the dribble in tight spaces, and how to read complex international defenses. But the Jordan Heading we are witnessing right now in the PBA Season 50 Philippine Cup with the TNT Tropang Giga is the absolute apex version of his career. And the catalyst for this spectacular explosion? Heartbreak. Fuel. Motivation born from defeat. When you listen to Heading speak about his preparation, about his focus, he constantly references the grueling lessons learned from previous finals losses, specifically against powerhouse teams like the San Miguel Beer Men. That kind of deep, stinging disappointment can either break a player or it can forge them into something entirely different. For Heading, it built an impenetrable mental toughness. Let us break down exactly what makes him so spectacular in the TNT system. First and foremost, his release is textbook. It is quick, it is fluid, and his balance is practically perfectly maintained regardless of whether he is catching and shooting off a stagger screen or pulling up in transition. In the modern PBA, where defenses are heavily focused on collapsing the paint to stop dominant big men or driving guards, having a sniper who commands absolute respect from 30 feet out completely breaks defensive schemes. When Heading is on the floor, you simply cannot help off him. If you sag one step, the ball is already in the air. If you play him too tight, he has the intelligence and the handle to pump fake, sidestep, or drive and kick to another open weapon. Furthermore, consider the environment he is operating in. TNT is a remarkably deep, intelligent team. When you surround a shooter of Heading's caliber with playmakers like Jason Castro or offensive threats like Calvin Oftana and RR Pogoi, you create a pick-your-poison scenario for the opposition. If a team decides to throw a double team at the post or blitz the pick and roll, the ball swings to Heading, and it is an automatic 3 points. He is averaging spectacular efficiency because he is taking smart, within-the-flow shots. He is not forcing the issue. He is letting the offense work for him, utilizing screens with veteran savvy, and relocating along the perimeter constantly, making him an absolute nightmare for defenders to track through a grueling 48-minute game. But it is not just his physical tools, it is his maturity. He spoke recently about the chemistry built over the last several months with his teammates. He talked about understanding their tendencies, knowing where they like the ball, and trusting each other defensively. This chemistry translates directly to on-court production. It means the passes are thrown exactly to his shooting pocket. It means the screens are set with the right angle and timing. When a player of his caliber feels completely comfortable and completely trusted within a system, the results are nothing short of spectacular. He has transformed from a great shooter into a truly complete, championship-level offensive weapon. As we wrap up this incredibly deep, exhaustive dive into two of the most fascinating storylines in basketball today, we have to take a moment to step back and look at the magnificent bigger picture. What we are witnessing with Kai Sotto and Jordan Heading is not just about two individual athletes achieving personal success. It is about the elevation and the evolution of a basketball culture that deserves the spotlight. For Kai Sotto, this impending NBA breakthrough is the realization of a prophecy. It is the reward for enduring years of unimaginable pressure, for tuning out the deafening noise of the critics, and for staying relentlessly committed to the grind of self-improvement. Whether it is a 10-day contract, a two-way deal, or a guaranteed roster spot, the moment he steps onto an NBA floor in an official capacity, he carries the hopes, the dreams, and the immense pride of an entire nation with him. He proves that the pathway from the Philippines to the highest level of professional basketball is not just a fantasy, but a tangible reality that can be achieved through unwavering dedication, strategic career moves, and raw, unadulterated talent. We will be watching his every single move, refreshing the news feeds, and waiting for that official announcement, because history is quite literally on the verge of being made. And for Jordan Heading, his spectacular play in the PBA is a masterclass in resilience and the relentless pursuit of perfection. He has taken the bitter lessons of defeat and forged them into an unyielding weapon of offensive brilliance. He is showing the next generation of guards that shooting is not just about mechanics. It is about intelligence, it is about preparation, and it is about having the mental fortitude to perform when the lights are at their absolute brightest. As he continues to light up the scoreboard and chase that elusive championship glory, he cements his legacy as one of the most lethal and spectacular perimeter players of his generation. The future of Philippine basketball, both on the international stage and within the domestic leagues, has never looked brighter, more dynamic, or more incredibly exciting. The towering dominance in the paint and the spectacular precision on the perimeter. It is a beautiful contrast, a beautiful game, and we are incredibly lucky to be witnessing it unfold right before our eyes. Thank you so much for joining me on this massive deep dive. If you appreciated this level of detail, this relentless breakdown of the facts, the history, and the tactics, please do me a huge favor and smash that like button. It truly helps the channel immensely. Share this video with every single basketball fan you know, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you never miss another comprehensive breakdown. We are going to continue tracking these stories, analyzing the film, and bringing you the absolute best, most detailed basketball content on the platform. Until next time, keep watching the games, keep analyzing the plays, and I will see you in the next one.